I do think there are some case-by-case bases. I think sometimes you gotta really make sure you know what you're talking about, but in most cases, I do think lore is fair to use, because at the end of the day, it's just another way of presenting the information. You may not like that presentation because you might not see it unfold in front of your eyes, but Death Battle doesn't look at how it feels when you're playing the game. They're looking at the character and everything that they are confirmed to be able to do. And what falls under lore is what they are confirmed to be able to do. In many ways, that's a game writer's method of telling the player or the consumer how strong a character is that you would not see, just in the gameplay alone. And I think that's very important to keep in mind. No character deserves to win just because they do or do not have lore scaling. You have to look at all the facts and then come to your conclusions. You can't choose whether or not you use lore based on the characters that you're looking at. You have to make that decision first and then analyze the fights. I also just imagine, someone going up to a lore writer and basically being like, hey, you wrote this lore, but it doesn't count, right? Like, it's not real. A lore writer is never gonna be like, oh yeah, no, I just made that up for fun. It's not really part of the game. Like, are you kidding me?
It happened. We don't see it happen, but we can't see everything unless you want 10,000 God of War games before God of War 1.
I don't think it's a term people try to use genuinely. It's just a term when people don't like the presentation of a story. Because the lore is the story.
There were literally people in this community that were surprised that Death Battle was using lore for Doomslayer. You can believe that they should not use lore. I will disagree with you, but you can believe that. I think that's totally fair. I respect your opinion on that. But if you're surprised that Death Battle is using lore for characters after Kratos versus Asura and Skyrim versus Dark Souls, then what that tells me is that you decide when or when to not use lore based on your preferences surrounding characters. And for the last fucking time, that is not how that works. To just see that makes me think that people don't get it yet. They don't understand that it's just something that is part of the characters, and you can't pick and choose for the characters that you prefer. And for anyone who's saying, well, no, you can't use lore for Doomslayer to make it more fair, no, that's not how it works either, because Death Battle is not just comparing the characters and saying who would win in a fight. They're also trying to be a genuinely good source of information for the characters in a vacuum, regardless of them being compared to each other. To say that you should arbitrarily misrepresent a character to make the debate better, I couldn't disagree with that more. Like, to me, that's just ridiculous.